This is the first video for NumPy video series. Here we will talk what is NumPy, how we can use for data science. But before that, I will be using the Jupyter notebook. So I would recommend please use the link coming on the top to install the Jupyter notebook and get familiar how to Jupyter notebook we can work on that. Then we can start the session. And before jumping the NumPy, let us understand what was the necessity to have NumPy, even though we have Python inbuilt many more libraries already, right? So NumPy array is like the Python inbuilt list type, but NumPy array provide much more efficient storage and data operation when your data size increase significantly. So actually Python has functionality for the common purpose use case. This is not particular for the mathematics or the data science. But in data science, numbers are very important and lot of number manipulations are there. We would have the one dimension, two dimension, three dimension or multinational data. And Python inbuilt list is not sufficient for this kind of data operations. So efficient storage and manipulation for the numerical array is absolutely fundamental requirement during the data science algorithm execution, and NumPy is the best fit for this. So NumPy is the fundamental package for scientific computing in Python. We can also use to call the numerical Python. This is the Python library that provide a multi-dimensional array object with various fast operation on arrays, including mathematical, logical, and shape manipulation and sorting. So let us start, but let me spend some time why the Python library is not very handy for the multidimensional operations. So see, if we have one Python, if you see, if we have Python data 1 2 3 4, we have two lists, L1 and L2, and if I want to multiply for the both, so it will not work. You have to iterate one by one, then only you can do that. But if you use the NumPy, we can do it very easily. So what are the things we are going to cover in this video? So we will see how to create the NumPy arrays. We have the many different way to do that, and we will go each one, and we will do the demo on that. So first of all, to start the work on NumPy, you have to import NumPy libraries. If it is not there, if you're getting the error that NumPy modules is not there, then you have to execute the command pipe install NumPy to have the NumPy module in your Jupyter notebook. But I have, so it's no need to for me. And now if you want to execute which version I am getting, so it will show that which version I am going to use. So my NumPy version is 1.17.2. And important thing is that you can get all the API for the NumPy, just you put the dot and tab button. When you do the tab button, it will show all the API in that in this module, NumPy modules, right? So if it is done, then we will start how to create the array from list. So how we can do that? Let us start that. So suppose if you have one array that have the value, different values, so, and I forgot to mention, these are the introduction for the NumPy. It is the first mathematical computation. As I told you, it is the homogeneous data structure, means this list we keep all the same kind of data type. Exceptionally you can keep it, but we will always recommend to have the same kind of homogeneous data structure. And it is very fast because it has been implemented internally to the C language, and this is a mutable, means once you create the list you will not change it. And as I mentioned, that is a high dimensional computation, right? So now I take one list. This is the way to create the list in NumPy, NumPy.array in here. Now if you see, this is our data. If you see the what is the type of a means in the this is the Python API type, so it will say the ND array. So all the Python NumPy array is the ND array. But if you want to know what is the data type of the data in this A, then you can use the A dot D type. So the D type is data type of the element of this array. So this is the data type. What is data type for this element? But if you can see, this data type is the integer 16. But while creation of the array, you can also provide the what is which data type you want. So suppose I want data type float 16. So you can pass those argument like this. So if you see, this is the data, and also we can pass the float, which type of thing. So you can do that, right? So okay, wait me. I can put that np. Okay, so you can put like this. So now if you see, I have passed the data type here float. Now if you check a dot D type, we can see this is the float. So this is the way we can change the data type while doing the runtime, right? Now and we can also keep the string. It is not necessary that you always you have the number as per the requirement. You can see this is the string you are giving in the list. And if you see the B, it is B. But did you notice it is showing the U6? U6 means the maximum length of the individual element. So what is the maximum length for the each element? Not each element, what is the maximum length of the one of the element? So if you see, it is the 5 and here is the 6. So maximum length of compared to all the element, length is the 6. So it is showing the 6. What is the significance of here? Now it will fix the memory size for the 6. Now you cannot change the data more than the 6 character. Let me put the same thing, and I want to just show, put the S. Now you can see this is the type is the 7. Now you cannot, you maximum size you can use that the 7. So if you want to check, so suppose I want to update the data, right, for this for the hello, the 0 index, and I have given the big data, but it will not take, it will take the maximum is the, it was 7, so it will take only the 7 character, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So that is the significant for that. And another command is that shape. So shape will tell you what is the shape of this the array. So only we have the one row size of 3, and the number of column is 3, and the row is the 1, right? So it is showing the 3 1. Okay, because this is one dimensional data, that's why it is showing that. If you say now take the, it was the way to create the array from the list. Now we are going to see how we can create the array from the these two API. One is the 0, one is the 1. So NP has one API that is called the 0. So 0, and we can give the here size of our matrix, dimension of matrix. So I have given the matrix 3-dimensional matrix I have given. So row, column, and the third dimension. So now if you see G, so you can see that this is the 3-dimension data, right? So all the dimension is the 4 4 4, and everything is filled with the 0. So that's why, because this is a 0 works. And if you want to know the what is the shape of Z, so you can use the same thing. It will show the shape. And another interesting thing is that in that 0 we have the this is one of the interesting API. What is the meaning of 0, like what is the difference? So suppose if I have one A, we have already created here. So you want to create one array or existing array, but number should fill with the 0. So in this case, if I pass the np dot 0 like and pass the A, let me show the output, then we can understand. So what it did, it take the same dimension of A but filled with the 0. That's why the name is the 0 like. Okay, now the same thing we can use the with ones. So how it work, you take the np dot ones, right, and you pass the any dimension. Suppose I want to pass the 3 3 3. So now if you see that create the 3-dimensional array, row column 3 3 with the A. So in this 0 was putting the 0, but this A was the putting the ones, is putting the ones. And the same thing we can put the use the like also. So if I use instead of the 0, put the ones, so it will fill with the ones, right? Sorry, another data I took. Okay, suppose you take the 0. Okay, now if you use it, it will take the same dimension and fill with the 1. Okay, and another thing is the same way we have the full, means I showed you how to create the dimension with the 0 and 1, but if you want to create one dimension with some predefined data, so suppose I want to create one array and that having all the element to the 99, then you can use that np null, this is the dimension of array and which data it would fill, initiate the data, initialization of data with the 99. Now you can see this is all 99. So 0 for 0, 1 for 1, and full for the your defined number. Even that is not only for the numbers, if you have any string and you want to initiate one dimension, any array with the string, you can also do that. But in this case, you have mentioned, you have seen this u5 is because size of this initial parameter is the 5. And the same way we have the 0 like, ones like, then we have the fill like also. So what it will do, it will take the A dimension. What is the dimension of A? Dimension of A 3 3 3. It will fill with the 10. So now you can see it filled with the 10. And other way is to create the array in NumPy with the arrange, ARNG. So what is the difference here? So if you take, let me show one example, then it will be easy for us. We have to pass the 3 argument, starting point, ending point, and the step. What is the gap would be there between each number? So I want to generate from 10 to 20 and the gap is the 2. So that's why it start from 10 excluding the 20 and then the every step increment by 2. And you can use some minus number also here. So if I say, you can see that from 10 to 15 step is -1. So this way we can use that. Now we have the another interesting way to generate the array with the random number. So we have the two way to generate with the random number. One is the random rand and second is the randn. N represent the standard normal and without n is the uniform distribution. So this is the statistical term, how the data will be generated. This is a uniform distribution or the standard normal form. So let me show some example, then it will be easy for us. So suppose if I take this data, I have given the 16. So it will generate the 16 number between 1 to 0, and this is uniform distribution. Number will be uniformly distribution if you see. Okay, I will show one pictorial format to make it easy, but let me show the another one also, so it will be easy for us. So here you can see difference is that it will generate the here also you can pass the 16, no problem if any confusion is there. So it will generate the number 16, but in the standard normal form. So it will have the negative, positive, and that including the 0. That I will show what is the difference in between. But in both, this is the one dimension array, right? So if you put that shape, it will show this is the one dimension. This is the one dimension. But in this way, if you want to generate two-dimension data also, so you can, instead of the 16, you can pass the dimension, so it will show the dimension. So now this is a 2D data, right? And if you want to confirm, just make the shape. Now it is the two-dimension array, right? Now let me show what is the difference. So for that I will generate one pictorial format that is not part of this video, but just for making you clear concept in between both random and the random.rand. So what I will do, I will generate the 10,000 number or the one rack number with the rand and randn and make it proud to understand. So one is the uniform distribution, one is the normal distribution, and let me generate one graph here. So you see, uniform distribution has the uniformity distribution, right? Almost equal everything. But if you see the normal, you might have known in the normal it have come from the negative, 0, and positive. So this is the curve we get. So through the NumPy we can get some statistical data also. That's why my intention was to show that. In any point of time, if you want to get any help for any API, just use the help command. So suppose I want to know what is the random this API. Just use the help command. It will give the complete documentation here. So any point of time during the development, if you are missing something, you can take the advantage of these things. And if you want to generate the integer random number, so you can use the random int. So it will generate the random number within the given parameter. So it will generate from 5 to 10. It will take the data 5 to 10, but dimension 3 into 3. So you can provide the range also and dimension also. You can see that we have now this is the way to generate the random number for the generation also. And another thing is that if I execute the same command again, suppose if I let me take the same command again, you can see that every time they generate the different number, right? So if I want to generate the same number for every time for some my experiment, so we can use one keyword that is called the seed. So what seed we work? So you have to set the seed. So in this, take the same example. If I take the same example, but before generating, just you pass the random seed. So I pass one random seed 67. Now you generate the number. Any spelling mistake here. And with this seed, if you execute again, you will get the same output, right? So see this is same output. In this case, output was different when you execute every time. But I pass the seed 67. So with that, every time this random API will generate the same thing. Now the interesting topic is that how to access the element. So this is one of the interesting topic in array. So let me show how to different way
So
to access
please
that.
visit the next video to continue this session, and next video we start again from the how to access the element of the what we created the array in this example in this session. Thank you.